Hi, this is Mark. Sat with Ashley here. We're in Vilamoura in the south of Portugal. Ashley is one of my success stories from mentor program, and he came to me in 2020 during COVID when he was working for a big American company and they were abusing him, and he had tried learning to trade Forex with an outfit in London, which was a bit of a rip-off and a scam. And he'd also spent a lot of money on signals and other things that went on. And he came to us, and then he came to me for some private coaching. And he works with us now. He teaches other people, and really, actually, he's living the dream, because when you came to me, tell folks about what you were doing with the company you were with and what you were trying to achieve, and how's your life now?
Yes, so I was working for quite a big company and in the UK, and was getting paid very well. But over the years, as I was working, the work got more stressful. People were leaving. They were not employing more people. So automatically the job was adding on to myself. And it got to a point where I just said, this is too much. And I'm not getting paid extra for the job I'm doing. And I called it quits. And I quit my job, came to see you, and then I started working for FMP since then.
Well, it was the other way around. You came to see me, we talked about quitting the job, made a plan, and then because that's the important thing. We said
made a plan for like a year or something.
Exactly. So for anybody thinking of quitting the job, don't just quit your job to go Forex trading or whatever. We did have a plan. And also Ashley came to work with us, so he had some guaranteed income as well. Big thing about all of this. What we try to teach people is to kind of phase your way out of your work. For example, if you're working 5 days a week to start with, then try to get down to 4 or 3 and multiple income streams.
That's the thing I've been seeing in the business plans. People submitting in the forum, some of them are like very optimistic with the plans about leaving the job within like 6 months. And I'm like, I took a year to plan this all out properly with you, because remember, I had a wedding and
to pay for.
Then I was planning to go on a long honeymoon for like 3 months. So I needed money for that as well, and then I had to come back to England as well, so I had to have enough money for paying the bills,
flights,
rent, everything, flights, etc. So it's a lot of planning, but you need a proper business plan to do all that.
I think one of the main things for me is, at the time that Ashley was working for this big company, they basically had him doing 2 people's jobs. Then the assistant left, so you were answering 800 emails a week. Then your mum got seriously ill in India with COVID. And for compassionate leave, they would give him 3 days off. And it's more than 3 days to get there and back. And his mother was seriously ill and could have died.
And I was still working while this is all going on.
And I think that was a big thing for you. That you kind of, I was saying to him, look, if you're 25 years old at the time, once you get onto the wheel and you've got kids and you've got mortgages and the rest of it, then basically you're not going to be able to do anything until you're 50, because you're going to get on the wheel and you're going to be stuck with it. And so as well, I explained to Ashley, if you're younger and you're going to do it, now is the time to do it, because ultimately you didn't have the expenses, did you?
I think that's the best advice you've ever given me. Do it now while you're young, rather than coming later and trying to do it all when it's like you've got more responsibilities. And as soon as I heard that, I felt lighter, and it helped me, it motivated me to take the next step, which was to do what I've done, leave the job, and then
and learn to trade properly. And again, when you think about, my average client used to be 50 plus, so they'd gone through the process with kids and mortgages and everything. And there's still, obviously, a lot of people need to do that and want to do that. But if you're younger and you can do it, then make a plan and go for it. And you look at your quality of life. How many holidays have you had since you quit your job?
It's very hard to count.
How many? You used to get 2 weeks a year, did you, or maybe 3 weeks a year?
That was stressful as well, booking a holiday when I was working, because you have to think about who else is on a holiday, and then if they are basically on a holiday, then you can't go on a holiday. And then you got to line up also with your wife. When is she getting time? Because she's on the rota. So it's like all a mess. But now it's like, okay, when are you off? I'll be off whenever I want.
Yeah.
And then you'll be fine. But yeah.
And so describe an average day before, and then what do you do now?
Ooh, an average day before, I would wake up at 7. If I was driving to work, which was 1.5 hours, so I had to do that 2 times a day after COVID. I would wake up at 5:30, take me an hour to get ready. I had to leave the house by 6:30 to get there at 8, and I would work 8 to 4, and then drive back proper knackered after watching the screen for 8 hours,
Yeah.
answering 120 emails a day. And I would like to go to the gym after that, but I just couldn't. We were just getting knackered. And now it's like a day as a trader now would be like, basically I just wake up early around 7, prepare for London, and I will watch the London Open around 8. And if there is a setup, I would take it. If not, I would just go to the gym, come back around 10 o'clock for the 4-hour candle close. And if there's something going on, I'll take it. If not, if there's nothing going on during the day, I'll just call it the end of the day.
Yeah.
And just wait for the next day for the setup to form. Sometimes you just have those days or weeks where you just like nothing is happening, and we've had quite a few of those recently. But that's okay. I would rather wait. What I've learned is I would rather wait to save that money to put on a really good trade rather than just taking trades.
Yeah.
And if it's 50-50,
Yeah.
I would rather wait for a very good probability trade. But
I
yeah,
think the main thing when we've spoken before, and like being here, I mean, it's a beautiful day.
yeah, it's a lovely beach.
You've had half a dozen holidays. You were even trading from Goa. You went to Goa, and how long
Yeah.
were you there for? And you were trading from
I
there?
was there for 6 months, and
Yeah.
it was wonderful. Slightly different to how it was in the UK, because in UK you wake up and you go to work straight away. Over there, because of the time difference, you are 4 hours behind.
So the biggest takeaway I think you said to me is the fact that you can now travel. I mean, you spent, was it 6 months in Goa?
Yes.
In India?
Yeah.
I mean, you were the richest man in town because for what the cost of living there.
Yeah.
But you were able to trade, make a living, teach, and explain. Compared to what you had with like the 3 days that the company would give you to go on an emergency, to be able to travel, to be here again.
Yeah. But
How does that feel?
trading just gives you the freedom to basically work from anywhere.
Yeah.
And the way I trade now is swing traders, trading longer time frames. It gives you that flexibility to just put forward orders and leave them alone. If you really like something, just put it on, and you don't have to watch the chart that much.
Yeah.
I spend less time.
Less is more for
Yeah.
sure. I mean, the other thing that we do nowadays, you've done well out of gold, you've done well out of crypto as well, because we trade and invest in that as well as. So if Forex is quiet 1 week, then we go off to do that. Other benefits, anything else you can think of that's how it's benefited your life? The changes you've made?
I think I've been able to spend more time with my family and my wife. I've been able to travel more, like you said. And for me, what I've learned from these past 5 years I've been with you is about joining the dots and being in the right cycle at the right time.
Yes.
I think the gold one is the best one. I think I entered at the right time. I met you at the right time. I didn't understand in my first year. In the second, it's just like crypto. You didn't understand it at the beginning, but then you got it. For me, it was the same about gold. And I bought it at the right time in 2022 when I was in Dubai.
Yeah.
And gold was like 1,500 an ounce.
Yeah.
So for me, I bought the gold bars, but I know you buy it from Bullion Vault.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's doubled.
Yeah.
Literally.
Same with crypto. I mean, we got
Yeah.
we got into crypto in 2020 at the right time as well. So that's the other thing, is that we're trying all the time to find the next big thing. So it doesn't have to all be Forex.
I got some questions from members and myself that I would like to ask you.
Okay.
Okay, first question is, were you always good with money, or did trading teach you that?
I came from a strange background. My father was useless with money, so there's no family education whatsoever with money. But I started my first business when I was 21, and you quickly learn to be able to be profitable and cover your costs, otherwise you go bust. So I kind of, that's been instilled in me. Trading, the good thing with trading is that I don't need any staff. I don't need very little overheads. So I used to have a business where every month before I earned any money, we had £100,000 worth of overhead every month.
Yeah.
And so now I have the internet and I have a decent computer and laptop.
Yeah.
So for me, trading, because of the background anyway, but yeah, for me, no, it's part of being self-employed.
Next question. What's the most ridiculous money advice you've had?
Well, the main thing is not to wait, especially when you're younger, is not to go off spending money on things that will depreciate in value. So don't be I spent far too much money on cars when I was younger.
Yeah.
I used to get a new car every year, which was stupid. And that was partly of the thing in the UK was that because I was in business, everybody did it and you did it. And now I don't bother. Worst advice, I think, investment advice these days is just put money in the S&P and retire when you're 60 or 70 or 80. But yeah, just mainly buy things that will go up in value or buy things that will give you income.
Okay, that's good advice. What advice will you give someone who is starting a minimum wage job? He's basically starting at zero and be trying to build up their investments.
Try to obviously put money away. Nowadays, the good thing with trading, with Forex, with crypto, and even with stocks, you can get a funded account.
Yeah.
So you get a funded account for maybe $50, $60 that gives you access to $10,000.
Yeah.
So I would focus on that. I mean, the price of property is too expensive for younger people now, but to be able to trade a funded account and get 70-80% of the profit, go for that.
Yeah. Sometimes members complain about not having opportunities in the market. I mean, we've had that quite a few times. As being a professional trader for 20 plus years and seeing the market so much, what advice would you give them?
If things don't line up the way that you want them, then just walk away, or do what I do and is just go to other markets. So we've had a few months where it's been quiet on Forex, and then suddenly 1 or 2 trades makes the month's profit.
Yeah.
So you're going to be patient and disciplined, but in the interim, I've been buying crypto, I've been buying gold, I've been buying stocks and trading them as well. So the point is to be patient and disciplined, but if things are not lining up in one thing, go into another market or do something else or walk away.
That's the thing with Forex. It's been testing me so much these past few weeks. And you've been watching some of my trades. I posted, I had like one trade almost every week in the past few months. But it's been making the profit for like 2 weeks.
Yes.
So it's been paying off in that way, but you got to be really patient with it.
Yeah.
And like you said, focusing on the markets.
It's very easy to be a busy fool when it comes to trading. I mean, I used to sit there 8 hours a day and probably take 20 or 30 trades a day.
Yeah.
I don't do that in 6 months now. But
I
make money. So I am only in this to make money. I'm not in it to sit in front of a screen all day. It's not exciting anymore. It's just to make money.
Next question. How do we adapt to the current market since Trump has come in and it's going to be there for the next 4 years in the cabinet?
Yeah, when we're recording this today, this is the 2nd of June, 2025.
Yes.
We've just, the last few weeks have been insane with Trump. But I did warn people and say, look, it was like this last time, but this time it's like on steroids, because you've got this thing with the tariffs and then the courts and all the rest of it. So the best thing to do is to step back. But ultimately, I think that the market, I've said for a long time, I think the dollar will not be the reserve currency in the world.
Yeah.
Certainly not in your lifetime. And now I'm thinking in my lifetime, and maybe not even the next few years if they carry on the way that they are. So the point is to zoom out a little bit, but also be thinking strategically, well, if the dollar's going to go down, then gold's going to go up.
Yeah.
And you can trade gold and you can buy and invest gold. I think silver's the best bet, because technically silver was at $49.50 in 2012. So there are opportunities all around, but you just need to plan in advance. And then Trump does something, and then you have to adjust the plan.
Did you see that new news just 2 days ago, where the White House, I think one of the quotes about Trump, he can't do that. That's what they said about imposing tariffs.
And it happened again on Friday. So it is what it is. You have to trade what you see, and if you're not sure, walk away.
Okay, good advice. What advice would you give youngsters who are starting early compared to someone who is starting at maybe like when you start, when you're 40? Because obviously there's a big age difference, more responsibilities when they are older, and they have
Do you
less
mean with trading?
Yes,
Yeah.
with trading, yeah.
It doesn't
investing.
really. It doesn't matter on an
Yeah.
age thing. I mean, the thing is, there is a tendency that with people who've got money is you throw money into an account,
Yeah,
and I did that. I kept throwing money into an account because I could afford it. And in reality, nowadays, go onto a funded account
Yeah.
and treat it with respect, because otherwise, if you break the rules, you will be out. So it gives you the discipline, and it also can give you a track record to then trade real money for people.
yeah.
So it doesn't. Age is not a constraint anymore.
Okay. Slightly off topic. Would you buy a house in England right now?
No, we've just sold nearly all the houses. We've got one left. There's little point being a landlord in the UK because the government just tax everything,
Yeah.
and they're going to change the rules so that if you have a tenant who doesn't pay, it's going to be very difficult to get them out. So no, and again, we talk about property. We were talking about earlier. For your generation now, to buy in London, for example, or any of the big cities, you've no chance.
Yeah.
So, but you have to be more creative, and you have to look at different areas, etc. But I lived through the golden era for property in the UK, where prices were cheap, mortgages were cheap, and easy money, and those days have gone. So
Yeah.
you have to be a lot more creative now.
Okay. This one is pretty deep, this question. If I've been thinking about it, so let's just say if FMP was not there tomorrow and someone wanted to start their trading journey, what advice would you give them, considering there's so many traders out there now teaching their own courses? How would you tell them to be careful?
You have to do research. I mean, when you first came to me,
Yeah.
you showed me the website of the people in London you'd paid $5,000 to. And as soon as I saw it, it just looked like a scam to me.
Yeah.
So you have to dig deeper and do some due diligence on checking into the background of people. Try to talk to people who've been with these people rather
Yeah.
than just a salesman.
Yeah.
And
I think what I really learned from what you taught me about how to go behind the product is to go on reviews on Google.
yes,
I never thought about that.
I look for reviews.
Yeah.
I mean, you think about it.
Tricks about on Trustpilot, like how they're lined up, all the same comments on the same day,
Yeah.
all 5 stars, and then if you go on like the second, third page, it's like you start to see the real ones.
Yes.
And
Yeah. Hey, but you think about it nowadays, we buy something on Amazon for $20 and we read reviews before we buy it.
Yeah.
And then people go out and spend thousands on some fake guru.
Yeah.
So be diligent and do the same research for a 5,000, 10,000 product as you would for a £20 thing.
Yeah. Okay, I think it's kind of get a bit windy over here,
A bit.
so we need to end this a bit quick. So I got 2 more questions. Finish this sentence. If I were not a trader, what would you be?
I could be retired. I could go back to being a musician if things get really bad.
Yeah. Okay. The next question goes quite well. What would your retirement look like? I know you're semi-retired now, almost done.
I think that for a lot of people when they get older, the danger is that mentally they don't go to work anymore, and then they lose the stimulation. So I have a lot of older clients who like to trade because it keeps them mentally active. And our oldest client I know of, Hilton from the north of England, is 85,
Okay.
and he's sharp. He's switched on. But part of the reason why he came to us 20 years ago was to keep himself mentally active in retirement. So.
Okay. Well, it was nice to meet you. First podcast, so just be kind to us, guys, because editing is going to be a bit of a pain. But yeah, I'll try and get this out there on FMP.
Righty ho.
Yeah.
The good thing is Ashley is living proof that you can do this. So if you want to make the effort, then get in touch. He can teach you nowadays. Catch you later.
Bye.